The autumn sitting of the House of Commons resumes Monday, and I would argue that MPs for all four parties have reason to be a little bit concerned heading into this fall session. Let's start with the Liberals. They're at 50% in the polls nationally, a little bit better than that in BC. What would you argue do they have to worry about? Well, I'd say a big one, the Kinder Morgan pipeline. They have to decide by December 19th whether to go ahead with this very controversial project to expand Kinder Morgan's pipeline to Burnaby. And the argument is, of course, that they want to do one pipeline. There are three big ones in Canada, and there's a lot of expectation that Trudeau will go ahead with this, despite the political price that may be paid by some of his 17 MPs on the West Coast. Now let's move to the Conservatives. They only elected 10 MPs in BC in the last election, but they are not sitting too badly right now. They've about 30% in the polls nationally. They've held on to their base, but they're heading into a leadership contest. And so there's some uncertainty for that party as well. And the big problem for them is the big names in the party, the James Moores and the Peter MacKays and the Jason Kennys are sitting this one out. What does that say about their confidence in winning the next election? Some people are asking. So there are not a lot of big names. Andrew Saxon of BC is considering entering the race. There are not many other big names. So there's a bit of uncertainty there about where the party is going. Will they go more social conservative or fiscal conservative, to the left or the right? It's hard to say. The NDP had a pretty good election in BC in the last election, 14 MPs. However, they're not sitting pretty right now. The 14 MPs that are returning to Ottawa are facing a leadership race in which no one has entered. And a number of the big names, including BC's Nathan Cullen, are not part of the contest. There's a lot of uncertainty there, and there's considerable bad feeling because Tom Mulcair, even though he was voted down as leader by his own party last spring, is hanging on. And that has caused some frustration. The party is plunging in the polls. The Liberals are taking a lot of their support. There's a great deal of dissension in the NDP caucus, and they'll be looking for ways to kind of come out of their funk in this fall session. Hard to say how they can do that, though, when they still have Tom Mulcair as leader. Last party we're going to look at is Elizabeth May's Green Party. She comes back to Ottawa in tough shape. Her party didn't do very well in the last election. She won her seat in Saanich Gulf Islands, sure. But she's got a big problem right now. A faction of the party has essentially hijacked the Green Party to try to turn it into a party that's advocating a boycott against Israel, believe it or not, in Canadian politics, that they're trying to make that a major issue. Several members of the party attacked the BC Green Party leader, Andrew Weaver, whose party, I should say, has no connection to the federal party. And Elizabeth May was forced to fire those people. She's got a bit of a crisis on her hands. She's going to try to get that resolution against Israel out of the party's books in December. But at the same time, even if she does, she has minimal support across the country from Canadians in general. I don't know if her party and her can handle this kind of pressure.